All right, today we're going to bring an 8-stage reverse osmosis water filter. Now this water filter, everything's including the actual filters, the 2 sets of filters you're going to require. Now these can be replaced throughout the future. They also give you the actual faucet itself. Inside the faucet, you're going to need a power. And then of course, there's a power connection that goes underneath the sink. Instructions are included. Now the system is very small, everything is included, of course. Like I said, even the actual pipes are included. Now the size of this unit, it's about 15.4 up and 5.3 and wide, all right? So this is gonna fit pretty much on any common sink under the sink. Just make sure you do have power and you share the power. The actual filters are labeled, but they also, you could tell between 3 and 4 pins on it, and instructions are included. Of course, we're going to start labeling and also putting plumber's tape on all the T's that we're going to install underneath the sink. This is very important for everybody that's installing this. You need to install it on the cold section. Do not install it on the warm or hot section, or it will ruin and it will mess up your actual filter. Make sure you only do the cold and put plumber's tape where it's needed. Pretty much I would put on everything that I'm installing underneath the sink just so it won't leak. All right, so here we have a pipe coming back out, going up to the actual sink. This one's coming from the main line. This is going to go for the filter. So the washer goes here, connects here to the main line. We already set up all the washers and everything like the instructions. As you can see, we are sharing the power source with the water source with 3 different connections, even to our fridge. On the T, just make sure you're up on the actual section. It says 3/8 by 3/8 by 3/8. Everything's well rounded and well secure. And we actually added plumber's tape. Here's the faucet. They also included tools so you could set up the filters if you can't do it manually with your arm. Make sure for the drain pipe to pass the actual hose just a little bit more so it could actually drain properly and not leak. Instructions, it has main line to the actual line to the sink and then to the drain. The black one's the drain.
The main one. So this is for the
faucet.
For the faucet, and this is the bleed out.
Yeah, the bleed out. Push it up, the water.
And the sensor is right here.
Yeah. Got everything here set up. All right, we finally finished it. We set it up. Now the sensor, the water sensor is going to have to be underneath here because this is where all the leaks are going to happen. Now, when we turned it on, there was 2 major leaks that we had. We had one here, and coming out from the main line. And then the other one was coming out there. So they do give you extra gaskets to actually turn it off. We just figured something out. We put the sensor in the water and the sensor actually turned off the whole entire system here, and we had to reboot. And there it goes. It's starting to reboot again.
There we go.
So the sensor, when it makes any kind of motion, I'm going to show you guys the actual water. There's water right here. When you put the sensor in the water, you're going to see it in a bit. There it goes. Sensor hit the water. It turns off everything automatically. I'm going to put it back over here, dry it up, and you'll see it coming on right now in a bit. And there it goes. Back up. So the sensor is really, really sensitive with any kind of water. So just make sure any kind of drips or anything, it's going to turn off the entire system. So you won't have a lot of water draining. All right, like I said, we put a towel here. We have our little cup, so any kind of drain extra water. We did have extra water come out of this one, and just make sure your locks are in there. Make sure these pipes are going all the way through. Not all the way through, but they have to lock in. If they don't lock in, like I did, I misplaced this one here, and it was leaking some water too. So just make sure you are aware of that. Sensor goes in the bottom, power in the middle, and then the power for the actual faucet. All right. Now the sensor is very sensitive with any kind of water. A sensor with any kind of water on it. What you need to do is just make sure you put it right next to this part right here where all the water stuff's going to come out. As soon as it does that and it doesn't want to turn on, it's because you have a water leak and it turns off everything. Now, the draining pipe was probably the hardest thing you have to do. You have to make the little hole, and make sure you have your adjustments, and also make sure you have power for this system. Now, you're only going to require one power source for the whole system, even though it has 3 connections, 2 powers, which is the sensor, the main line, and then also the power for the actual faucet. It only requires 1 connection. Now, filters, just make sure you label them, and you have to change them every 6 to 1 year. There's 2 filters on it. All right, we just flushed it right now, but there's also a reset button. There's a sensor, there's a cautious button, and these are your actual filters here that you have. So you'll see it light it up into the actual system. So once you flush it, you wait a while, and then you're able to use this. All right, in order to make this happen, you are going to require some tools and a little bit of experience of plumbing. And if you guys can see, we have the whole system set up. We were fortunate enough to have the same line as the pipe, but I was able to buy a 1/2 to 3/8 just in case I need it. But in this case, I didn't need it. Both of them are 3/8 in the center of the actual pipe. The drainage was the only thing that we had to drill in here, but overall, it was a simple installation of just setting up. And we did have a couple leaks, so that just be cautious that you are going to have leaks. And you might, that's why it comes with plumbing tape and other sources that you can replace. They give you the tools, the filters, the first filter, so you can start. And then the best thing about it is this thing here. This thing lights up, tells you how good the water is. You guys can see, get your water cup, test your water sources out, and enjoy for many weeks, years. And just replace the filters when it's needed. This is adjustable, left or right. You guys can see that. Very simple, compatible with pretty much any sinks that you have, as long as you have the hole with it. And here we used to have the actual hole for the soap, but we ended up replacing it with this. So very simple, easy to use. I hope you guys enjoy the video.